What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Think Tank TV. You could have been anywhere in the world. You're here with me. I sincerely appreciate that. Let's talk about this government shutdown one more time. Let's speak about how people are getting their food stamps early because the government is shut down, so they don't know when it's going to be funded again. So the 800,000 people that's laid off of work, so many that were something to come back to work to help with the IRS shutdown, to help with some things that became, at one point, it wasn't essential. Now it's essential. So I don't know if slavery is a choice, but I mean, if you're a federal worker, you know what the guidelines are. You guys will be repaid all you guys' money. Let's talk about, like I said, but let's speak about the black people. Let's speak about the food stamps. Let's speak about the Section 8 low-income housing. I see a lot of posts on Facebook. I see a lot of posts on social media about how food stamps going to get cut off and people don't know what to do. People are struggling. People are struggling. Like, come on, man, we black. Let's not be lazy. We survivors, we kings, we queens. That's what we preach. Then we got to be that in hard times. We got to be that in hard times. Is Make America Great for black people means, oh, we get food stamps, we get Section 8, we get Medicaid, which I'm in favor of all this getting in a reparations package, honestly. But being independent, like, when did that come in? Yes, white supremacy did a lot of things to black people. But we have money. Like, we have money. Now we're in dire situations. We're in the worst of the worst for American standards. But we can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm not getting no food stamps next month. I'm not getting no food stamps next month. What am I going to do? You're going to go out there and you're gonna find a way to survive for your children. You can't teach your children when adversity comes. All you're gonna do is wait for the government to reopen to help you out. That's not really being independent. And I mean, people that really need it, people that's in dire stress, dire situations, and you come upon hard times. I'm not really speaking on you. I'm speaking on the people that really rely on food stamps to live every day of their life. It's a cycle. I was a part of the cycle. A lot of my family members are still in the cycle. A lot of my friends and family are in the cycle. So it's not here like I'm coming here and passing judgment, because if I was there, I would do the same thing. Because at the end of the day, you want your kids to eat. At the end of the day, you want your kids to have a roof over their head. You want them to be able to take a bath. You live in America, all of these things should be available to you. I don't agree that they should be available for free. I think everybody should have to put their work in, put their time in, put their skills to work, and let the pieces fall where they're made. And if you fall out, you do need help, then you need help. But we got to make better decisions. We got to make better financial decisions just as a people. I got to make better financial decisions. You listening to this got to make better financial decisions. Even if you get food stamps, you got to learn how to stretch those food stamps. I know I come from a community where a lot of people buy other people's food stamps. 2 for 1, give you cash. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me go ask my sister. Let me go ask my friend. Let me ask the girl down the street. If I give her $20, will she give me $40 on food stamps? Which the government says is illegal. And I mean, just for the convenience of having cash, I mean, that's the worst deal in America, but I let my people keep doing it, you know what I'm saying? I would never give them 80 food stamps for $40. I wouldn't. But hey, I mean, to each his own. But I'm not here to bash anybody, because everybody's adult. They got to choose whatever they can at their financial situation at that very moment, and they got to make what's the best choice for them and their family and their kids. But I'm just saying, when we get on social media and you get on Facebook and you see, oh, people are going to march downtown, people are going to rally against this, people are going to rally against that. Oh, where are we going to go? They're not going to pay for our Section 8. We're going to be homeless. If they're not paying for your Section 8 now, then like, what are you doing with the money that you do receive from work? And yes, it's not as easy for everyone to save. It's not. But if you're 30 years old, you're 32 years old, 33 years old, and like I said, this isn't for everybody. Everybody knows their own individual situation. But if you're 35, 36 years old and you're still talking about, what am I going to do? I got this amount of kids, and like, yo, you've been in hard times your entire life. You grew up in hard times. You grew up in the 80s. You grew up in the 70s. You grew up in the 60s. You grew up in the 90s. You grew up in cities where factories was being outsourced to Mexico. You grew up in cities where if you had a high school degree, you can be middle class. You can be working class. These are the cities you grew up in. So you was there for the prosperous times, prosperity, if we would say. And now we're not at that time anymore. We're not at that time anymore. But the federal workers are laid off. The federal workers are laid off. That means you guys, that's like, you can still go out and get jobs. I'm just saying this is what we have to do during a shutdown. You know, you can go out there to donate plasma, get $200 a month for doing that, because we got to think of things, you know, the way they stretch a buck during this government shutdown. For my people that lives in the hood still, I'm talking to my people that live in the hood. The have-nots that is already hard for them. If it's already hard for you, do not get your food stamps and spend them when they're supposed to last you for the next 30 days. They're supposed to last you for the next 45 days. And everybody's young. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Oh, just let them do whatever. No, I was young. As many people that listen to this podcast were young. We know that these young people are making immature decisions. And if you're one of the ones that have things going for you and you know how to manage your money, or you know how to manage your stamps, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? But for the other ones that I grow with in the hood that's going to go out and buy snacks, the majority of the food that they're going to pay, if they're going to buy snacks, microwavable food, I mean, you got to buy non-perishable items. You got to buy canned goods. You got to buy, even though canned greens and canned goods is not really that healthy for you, but you got to be able to buy those items. You got to be able to buy frozen food that you can stock up on, you know, that you can buy in bulk, that at the government shutdown last 90 days, 180 days. I mean, I would implore you to get a job. That'd be the first thing I would do. I would implore you to sit down while you're not doing anything, get out a pencil and paper, tell your kids to get out pencil and paper, pull out your cell phone, and come up with 10 reasons why you're not out getting money right now. And when you come up with those 10 reasons, come up with 10 solutions on how you can come up with good money. I don't have a car. Well, if you don't have a car, a bus pass is $30. You know the schedule. If some of you and your friends work at the same place, hey, can you come pick me up? I mean, I just don't like the thought, well, if the federal government isn't helping us, we can't do for ourselves. We're supposed to be independent. I know that it subverted a lot of our efforts, but come on now. And I come from that, and I want to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle that, oh, if I don't get food stamps next month, what am I going to do? I don't want you to resort to crime. I don't want you to resort to selling drugs. I don't want you to resort to nefarious things, because that's not showing a good way for your children. Of course, you're gonna cry. You're gonna have emotions. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna. How am I gonna pay my bills next month? But if you've been in the projects for 5 years, like, how would you? You had to have some thought. I'm chastising the people that I know that live in the project, and they never have any thoughts of getting out of the projects. They only speak about moving to other projects. What housing list they can get on. They say, do you know these people? Yes, I know these people. Trust me. I come from this. I'm not passing judgment, but I am passing judgment. You do what you got to do to make sure your kids survive. So if you got to get on food stamps, you got to get on food stamps. If you don't have any skills, you don't have any skills. If you didn't go to school, you didn't go to school. If you didn't graduate high school because your parents was on drugs or whatever, I understand that. I understand that people have sex and they have kids and you don't want to have an abortion. I understand these things. But at the end of the day, when you're 60 years old, when you're 65 years old, you look back on your life and you reflect on your life, I would think that you want to say, I made this way on my own. Not because I had the federal government give me food every month. Not because I was never being able to claim my own home because this house belonged to Section 8. Well, I know they let my kids go to school for free and I'm just gonna sit at the house and smoke. Like, nah, and I don't want you to be on the work plantation. I want everybody to be independent, but we have to have a base. And if we're supposed to be free from master and free from everybody else, we can't sit here and say, oh, the government isn't giving us food stamps. You got a whole community. I'm not gonna be one of them guys. I am gonna say it. Like I said, when these movies come out or these releases, these Jordan releases, we got a whole lot of money. We have a whole lot of money. When it comes to Sunday church time, we have a whole lot of money. When it comes to materialism, we have a whole lot of money. When it comes to getting our hair done, we have a whole lot of money. When it comes to buying cars, we have a whole lot of money. When it comes to stunting on the gram, stunting on Snapchat, we got a whole lot of money. When it comes to go to the club and buying bottles and being in the VIP section, and when you leave, all y'all go back to the hood, we have a whole lot of money. You can spend $4,000 or $5,000 on your birthday party. You got money. It's what you decide to do with your money is the problem. But don't tell nobody. Well, somebody got to tell people. I'm a black man. If I don't have no money tomorrow, nobody's going to give me a handout. Nobody's going to help me. Nobody's going to have sympathy on me. Nobody's going to empathize for me. They going to say, you 31? You better get your ass up and go out there and get a job. They going to say, you don't got no criminal record. You better go get a job. You better go to school. You're not going to be allowed to go to a homeless shelter. Veterans can't even get to homeless shelters. They're sleeping under the bridges. I don't want any family sleeping under bridges. If you in Section 8, use that as a stepping stone to get somewhere better. Just because we live in the hood, that don't mean that we don't got to have discipline. We don't got to have more. We don't got to have good spending habits. Because we rely on it that the money's going to be there. The money's going to be there. This is the government. Come on, the government's going to give us the money. The government's going to give us the money. The government don't care about you. They don't. You have to care about yourself. You have to care about your immediate family. You have to care about your neighbors. Above all, you have to care about yourself and your family. Oh, I don't want nobody to see me going out there to get plasma or donate plasma or whatever. Like, what are they doing? That's legal. I don't want nobody to see me getting cans or whatever. This is legal. I don't want nobody to see that I'm a Lyft driver. This is legal. Would you just rather sit in the house? Faking? No, you got to go out there and you got to do something. You got to, it's a recession in the hood time. You got to cut your own kids' hair. You got to do your own kids' hair. You got to do your own hair. You can't go get your nails done anymore. You got to do your nails at your house now. You got to do your own toes. Ain't no more dry cleaning. None of that. All these luxury that can be done by yourself, that's one thing. I'm not speaking about people that's rich. I'm not speaking on people that went to school and that they got their money and they got a great education, they got a great background, they got a great foundation, who's not being affected by the government shutdown. I'm speaking to my friends and family that I know that's in the hood. That's what I speak to. They know I don't pass judgment because I come out there. That's where I'm from. That's where all my friends and family is from. But now that I'm 31 years old, I see the decisions that we used to make when we were kids. We made horrible financial decisions. Horrible. We make horrible health decisions. Come on, listen, do not buy snacks. I know it's hard. I know it's addictive. I know you have kids. But I'm telling you, I buy my kids snacks, and I'm being a hypocrite right now. But buying your kids snacks, sugary items, that's the worst thing you can get them. These sugary cereals and stuff that we go to, and I know I know it's convenience or whatever, or most time our kids eat at school or whatever. And that's another thing that I'm getting at. Like, for most people, your children eat at school. They eat breakfast and lunch at school. So you're only really responsible for one meal. You're not making your kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner most days on the weekends. So where's these food stamps going? We have 3 or 4 kids and they all eat at school. Because we're buying Doritos. I was guilty of it. You buy Doritos, you buy chips, you buy candy. All of these things go past fast. They don't fill you up. They don't give you no nutritional value, nothing. Oh, you saying don't buy candy? Yeah, I'm saying we don't have the money to listen, if we don't have the money to buy food, we got to get government assistance. That's why the WIC, you can't get no candy on WIC. You got to get health items, nutritional items. I know you're grown. We're grown. We're grown. Yeah, but you still have to. You're not paying for dental insurance for your kids. You're making the government pay for that. The diabetes is something that we get for eating this trash food. If they don't give us food stamps, go to the nice neighborhood and go use your food stamps. Kroger's is any of these places, HEBs, the Kroger's, the Sam's Clubs, the Walmarts of the world. They have fresh produce. They got frozen produce. But we got to start there. We have to. It's all about making smart financial decisions. If you're on food stamps, that means you're in a horrible financial burdenship right now, hardship. That means that you ask the government for help. That means you're unemployed or your job doesn't make enough money. You have kids, it's hard to pay for daycare. That's what I said. I understand these things. I know people was married, they get divorces. Life happens. Savings get drained. Savings get dwindled. But those are people that attempted life and now they're on the system and they're trying to get back off. I'm talking about the people that stay on the system. Why you not speaking about white people? I know the facts. I know there's more white people on welfare than black people, but I'm not speaking to them because I don't hang out with them. I'm speaking to you, the person that's gonna listen to this. What are you gonna do with your food stamps? Different that you did next month to make sure that your food stamps last you. You got to buy different items. The government is shut down. Like I said, you have to buy non-perishables. You got to buy the pork. And this was the foods you have to buy right now because now you're in survival mode with no end in sight. And I know people going to take this and say he hating, but I'm saying next month if the government isn't open, what are you going to do? It's going to start affecting a lot of people. If they say you have to get out, they say you can't live in these government housing anymore. You can't live in these government quarters. You can't live in these slave quarters anymore. What are you going to do? That should have been the plan. Or what is my plan to get out of here? Because now we stuck. Like I said, like people say, you got to have multiple streams of revenue. But I got to get my people to even get one stream of revenue that we can count on. And when I mean that one stream of revenue that we can count, I don't mean your job. Because that's the revenue everybody counts on, and that's the one you're going to lose the fastest. A job can fire you tomorrow. Now you got credentials, you got career, you got tenureship, you got a 401k, you got some things that'll last you. That's one thing. But we all need to find side hustles. Yeah, these are skills. I'm not saying that it's going to be luxurious. I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard. But you want to make sure your family's going to eat. You want to make sure your kids are going to eat. You want to make sure that they don't have to turn to crime during this recession. Because if the things I'm saying online is like, okay, the government shut down, we can't do anything for ourselves. What am I going to do? You're going to do the same thing you do every day. Except on the 1st or on the 15th, you're not going to get any money. And I'm trying to break that cycle. Don't do the same thing that you do every day while we're in the projects. Don't get comfortable at your job at wherever convenience store or wherever low paying wage or whatever fast food joint. We already black. You already got to go through the struggle. It's already hard. It's not going to become any easier. You can make it easier by making simple decisions in life. People are, oh, it's not, no, it does. It is that simple. It may not look like it right now, but just changing small things, like I said, changing small things about your diet have a wonderful effect on your health. Changing small things about your finances will do you wonders at the end of the year. I don't got to spend this much at this birthday party. I don't got to spend this much on these clothes. I don't got to spend this much on this fast food. I don't got to go out this weekend. I don't got to buy fast food. I'm not telling you to be in the house all the time. I'm telling you to make smart financial decisions so when a rainy day does come away, you got a boatload of money stashed away. You got to have a boatload of money stashed away for a rainy day because it might be a hurricane. It might flood you. Let's do this. This Thing Hate TV has been informative. Leave your comments, subscribe to the Facebook page, hit me up on Instagram. Hit my boys up at Trap Conscious Radio. They always got informative shows. They've been doing it for a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? It's one of my platforms that I speak on. I love what those guys do. Hit everybody up. This is They Think TV. Share it to your friends. Share it around the globe. Let me get your comments. If you don't agree with me, let me know. Thank you.